but God's. The light has come because there are no laws but God's. There is no loss under the laws of God. God's laws are forever. God's laws forever give and never take. There are no laws except the laws of God. That needs repeating over and over until you realize that it applies to everything. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything. Everything that you have made. Everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything. Everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. I am under no laws but God's. 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 Well, thank you so much for coming to join me and studying A Course in Miracles. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles today. And this is lesson 76 for lesson 76 for Tuesday, March the 17th, 2026, St. Patrick's Day. Thank you for coming to join me. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from my home place here in the Ozarks. The light has come. I am under no laws but God's. Since the light has come, that was yesterday. I'm under no laws but God's. We have observed before how many senseless things have seemed to you to be salvation. Each has imprisoned you with laws as senseless as itself. You're not bound by them. Yet to understand that this is so, you must first realize salvation lies not there. While you would seek for it in things that have no meaning, you bind yourself to laws that make no sense. Thus do you seek to prove salvation is where it is not. Today we will be glad you cannot prove it. For if you could, you would forever seek salvation where it is not, and never find it. The idea for today tells you once again how simple is salvation. Look for it where it waits for you, and there it will be found. Look nowhere else, for it is nowhere else. Think of the freedom and the recognition that you are not bound by all the strange and twisted laws you have set up to save you. You really think that you would starve unless you have stacks of green paper strips and piles of metal discs. You really think a small round pellet or some fluid pushed into your veins through a sharpened needle will ward off disease and death? You really think you are alone unless another body is with you? It is insanity to think these things. You call them laws and put them under different names and a long catalog of rituals that have no use and serve no purpose. You think you must obey the, in quotes, laws, because they're not really laws. You think you must obey the laws of medicine, of economics, and of health. Protect the body and you will be saved. These are not laws, but madness. The body is endangered by the mind that hurts itself. The body suffers just in order that the mind will fail to see it is the victim of itself. The body's suffering is a mask the mind holds up to hide what really suffers. It would not understand it is its own enemy, that it attacks itself and wants to die. It is from this your laws would save the body. It is for this you think you are a body. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything you have made in opposition to God's will. Well, if it needs repeating, let's say it again. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. Your magic has no meaning. What it is meant to save does not exist. Only what it is meant to hide will save you. The laws of God can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that this is so. The laws of God can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that this is so. It is no longer a truth that we would hide. We realize instead it is a truth that keeps us free forever. Magic imprisons, but the laws of God make free. The light has come, because there are no laws but God's. That's why the light's come, because there are no laws but God's. We will begin the longer practice periods today with a short review of the different kinds of laws we have believed we must obey. These would include, for example, the laws of nutrition, of immunization, of medication, and of the body's protection in innumerable ways. Think further. You believe in the laws of friendship, of, in quotes, good relationships and reciprocity. Perhaps you even think there are laws which set forth what is God's and what is yours. Many religions have been based on this. They would not save but damn in heaven's name. Yet they are no more strange than other laws you hold must be obeyed to make you safe. There are no laws but God's. Dismiss all foolish magical beliefs today and hold your mind in silent readiness to hear the voice that speaks the truth to you. You will be listening to one who says there is no loss under the laws of God. Payment is neither given nor received. Exchange cannot be made. There are no substitutes, and nothing is replaced by something else. God's laws forever give and never take. Hear him who tells you this and realize how foolish are the laws you thought upheld the world you thought you saw. Then listen further. He will tell you more about the love your Father has for you, about the endless joy he offers you, about his yearning for his only Son, created as his channel for creation, denied to him by his belief in hell. Let us today open God's channels to him and let his will extend through us to him. Thus is creation endlessly increased. His voice will speak of this to us, as well as of the joys of heaven, which his laws keep limitless forever. We will repeat today's idea until we have listened and understood there are no laws but God's. Then we will tell ourselves as a dedication with which the practice period concludes, I am under no laws but God's. We will repeat this dedication as often as possible today, at least 4 or 5 times, at least 4 or 5 times an hour. As well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws throughout the day, it is our statement of freedom from all danger and all tyranny. It is our acknowledgement that God is our Father and that His Son is saved. Okay, my umbrella about blew away. I got my foot on it now. Okay, let's take a look at our text reading for today, and we're in chapter 8, the journey back, Roman numeral 8, the body as means or end. And while you're turning there, if you're reading through the original edition, read chapter 8, Roman numeral 11. In the Bible, the New Testament, read John chapter 9 if you're reading along with me. In Iyengar Yoga, read the head on knee pose, page 94 and 95. And out of A Course of Love, read chapter 22, start with paragraph 11, and read to the end of the chapter. The body as means or end. Attitudes toward the body are attitudes toward attack. The ego's definition of anything are childish and are always based on what it believes the thing is for. This is because it is incapable of true generalization and equates what it sees with the function it ascribes to it. It does not equate it with what it is. To the ego, the body is to attack with, equating you with the body. It teaches that you are to attack. Equating you with the body, it teaches that you are to attack with. The body, then, is not the source of its own health. The body's condition lies solely in your interpretation of its function. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. I didn't realize that had got in front of me. Boy, that's a mess. Sorry about that. My umbrella where it broke is getting in front of the camera, so let me tie that up so that won't happen again. And let's continue reading. Attitudes toward the body are attitudes towards attack. The ego's definition of anything are childish and are always based on what it believes the thing is for. This is because it is incapable of true generalization and equates what it sees with the function it ascribes to it. It does not equate it with what it is. To the ego, the body is to attack with. Equating you with the body, it teaches that you are to attack with. The body, then, is not the source of its own health. The body's condition lies solely in your interpretation of its function. Functions are part of being since they arise from it, but the relationship is not reciprocal. The whole does define the part, but the part does not define the whole. Yet to know in part is to know entirely because of the fundamental difference between knowledge and perception. In perception, the whole is built up of parts that can separate and reassemble in different constellations. But knowledge never changes, so its constellation is permanent. The idea of part-whole relationship has meaning only at the level of perception, where change is possible. Otherwise, there is no difference between the part and whole. 2. The body exists in a world that seems to contain two voices fighting for its possession. In this perceived constellation, the body is seen as capable of shifting in allegiance from one to the other, making the concept of both health and sickness meaningful. The ego makes a fundamental confusion between means and end, and as it always does. The ego makes a fundamental confusion between means and end, as it always does. Regarding the body as an end, the ego has no real use for it because it is not an end. You must have noticed an outstanding characteristic of every end that the ego has accepted as its own. When you have achieved it, it has not satisfied you. This is why the ego is forced to shift ceaselessly from one goal to another, so that you will continue to hope it can yet offer you something. 3. It has been particularly difficult to overcome the ego's belief in the body as an end, because it is synonymous with the belief in attack as an end. The ego has a profound investment in sickness. If you are sick, how can you object to the ego's firm belief that you are not invulnerable? This is an appealing argument from the ego's point of view, because it obscures the obvious attack that underlies the sickness. If you recognize this and also decided against attack, you could not give this false witness to the ego's stand. 4. It is hard to perceive sickness as a false witness, because you do not realize that it is entirely out of keeping with what you want. This witness then appears to be innocent and trustworthy, because you have not seriously cross-examined him. If you had, you would not consider sickness such a strong witness on behalf of the ego's view. A more honest statement would be that those who want the ego are predisposed to defend it. Therefore, their choice of witnesses should be suspect from the beginning. The ego does not call upon witnesses who would disagree with its case, nor does the Holy Spirit. I have said that judgment is the function of the Holy Spirit, and one he is perfectly equipped to fulfill. The ego as a judge gives anything but an impartial judgment. When the ego calls on a witness, it has already made the witness an ally. It is still true that the body has no function of itself, because it is not an end. The ego, however, establishes it as an end, because as such its true function is obscured. Thus is the purpose of everything the ego does. This is the purpose of everything the ego does. Its sole aim is to lose sight of the function of everything. A sick body does not make any sense. It could not make sense because sickness is not what the body is for. Sickness is meaningful only if the two basic premises on which the ego's interpretation of the body rests are true: that the body is for attack and that you are a body. Without these premises, sickness is inconceivable. Sickness is a way of demonstrating that you can be hurt. It is a witness to your frailty, your vulnerability, and your extreme need to depend on external guidance. The ego uses this as its best argument for your need for its guidance. It dictates endless prescriptions for avoiding catastrophic outcomes. The Holy Spirit, perfectly aware of the same situation, does not bother to analyze it at all. If data are meaningless, there is no point to analyzing them. If data are meaningless, there is no point in analyzing them. The function of truth is to collect information that is true. Any way you handle error results in nothing. The more complicated the results become, the harder it may be to recognize their nothingness. But it is not necessary to examine all possible outcomes to which premises give rise in order to judge them truly. 7. A learning device is not a teacher. It cannot tell you how you feel. You do not know how you feel because you have accepted the ego's confusion, and you therefore believe that a learning device can tell you how you feel. Sickness is merely another example of your insistence on asking guidance of a teacher who does not know the answer. The ego is incapable of knowing how you feel. When I said that the ego does not know anything, I said the one thing about the ego that is wholly true, that it doesn't know anything. But there is a corollary. If only knowledge has being and the ego has no knowledge, then the ego has no being. You might well ask how the voice of something that does not exist can be so insistent. Have you thought about the distorting power of something you want, even if it is not real? There are many instances of how what you want distorts perception. No one can doubt the ego's skill in building up false cases, nor can anyone doubt your willingness to listen until you choose not to accept anything except truth. When you lay the ego aside, it will be gone. The Holy Spirit's voice is as loud as your willingness to listen. It cannot be louder without violating your freedom of choice, which the Holy Spirit seeks to restore, but never to undermine. The Holy Spirit's, the last paragraph 9, the Holy Spirit teaches you to use your body only to reach other brothers, so He can teach His message through you. This will heal them and therefore heal you. Everything used in accordance with its function as the Holy Spirit sees it cannot be sick. Everything used otherwise is. Do not allow the body to be a mirror of a split mind. Do not let it be an image of your own perception of littleness. Do not let it reflect your decision to attack. Health is seen as the natural state of everything, when interpretation is left to the Holy Spirit, who perceives no attack on anything. Health is the result of relinquishing all attempts to use the body lovelessly. Health is the beginning of the proper perspective on life under the guidance of the one teacher who knows what life is, being the voice for life itself. So let's listen to the Holy Spirit, not the voice of the ego. Okay, I'm under no laws but God's. The light has come because there are no laws but God's. Okay, what's going around the world? Like I said, it's St. Patrick's Day. And St. Patrick was born in Britain in about 385, and he died on this day in either 493 or 461. A big difference there, either around 70 or around or a little over, around 100. Ramadan continues, Lent continues, the Great Lent continues, Day of Unity in Italy, birthday of Sri Sri Harachand Thakur in Hinduism, Campfire Girls Day. It was founded in 1912 on this day. Bostaurus et Brassica oleracea diem. Anyway, it's Bostaurus and Brassica oleracea Day, corned beef and cabbage day. Doctor-Patient Trust Day, Evacuation Day. The British Army left Boston and Suffolk County, Massachusetts on this day in 1776. Submarine Day, 1898, was first tried by John Holland, an Irish American. Tea for Two Tuesday. Slow down and enjoy your friends. World Social Work Day. Best social working div is sit down and have tea with someone. And then our Sambucus canadensis, our elderberry. We're reading out of, where did I put my edible landscaping? Did I not get it out? Oh, that's odd. Oh, here it is. Adam's elderberry, I told you yesterday we were going to read a bit. It's a native elderberry out of edible landscaping. It says Adam's is a native elderberry, very juicy berries, excellent for elixirs, pies, syrups, wine, etc. Late ripening and a heavy producer. Pollinates with other native elderberries. Very large flower heads. Height 6 to 12 foot, space 10-foot circles, zones 3 through 9. And as we said yesterday, out of the herb book, here's the herb book by John Lust. It's a cathartic and a purgative, which basically is a laxative. It's diaphoretic, which induces sweating. It's diuretic, which induces urination. And it's a stimulant, which, a tonic, a restorative, a refresher. Anyway, thank you, John Lust, and the Herb Book, an essential book if you're wanting to learn about herbology with me. Okay, let's see. Let's close with our song. Our word for peace, we're going to take it from the Pyrenees Mountains there on the Iberian Peninsula, on the Tyr, the Liabogo, and the Ebri rivers. And it's in Catalonia, and the word is Pau, P-A-U, Pau. Peace be with you. Pau be with you. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let's make sure we really take this lesson to heart today. I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws. I'm under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God's. The light has come because there are no laws but God's. There is no loss under the laws of God. That's nice to know, isn't it? There is no loss, there is no loss under the laws of God. God's laws forever give and never take away. God's laws forever give and never take. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything. Everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. I am under no laws but God's. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything. Everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God. Tell it to yourself often today. Every 15 minutes. Aim for that. And as the Catalonian people say for peace, Pau be with you.